Hey everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Regina. Today, I have my good friend Cheri Martin with me, and I am going to just tell you a little bit about Cheri. And Cheri is a social media strategist, a LinkedIn coach, trainer, speaker, and she has more than 25 years of online marketing experience. She's known as the social visionary for her approach to the art of social networking. And don't we all need social networking? That's what the world is all about these days. And her skill in mastering the different social media platforms, her passion for networking, and her joy of teaching led her to assist solopreneurs and small business professionals in simplifying their social media marketing efforts. And we all need that too. Cheri is a featured bestseller and the recipient of the Golden Mouse Award for Social Media Marketing Leader of the Year. I need to know more about that. She's a certified constant contact email marketer, a certified trainer, coach, and speaker. And she's always eager to share her experience, her expertise through training and coaching and speaking so her clients and audience can emulate social media, eliminate social media overwhelm. I'm having problems reading your bio here this morning. Apparently, I need some more coffee. With easy marketing, relationship marketing strategies, and simple systems, so they're more visible, credible, profitable with their online networking. So, with all of that, welcome, Cheri, to Coffee with Regina.
Well, thank you for having me here this morning, Regina. And I had my 1 cup of coffee so far. Unfortunately, it was a decaf because I'm staying in a hotel and the pot with the big coffee was gone. So I'm going to be back for more when we finish here today. So I'm happy to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you. And LinkedIn is one of those places where, we were talking about the LinkedIn, the social media platform of LinkedIn. There's so many different social media platforms out there these days.
Exactly.
And LinkedIn has always been, in my mind, it was always that place to go find a job.
Yeah.
And I think as I look at LinkedIn now, I just see so much more going on out in LinkedIn.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it has definitely evolved. And I will say LinkedIn was the very first social platform I actually got on. That was back in 2007. And it was during my BNI time. And we talked a little bit about Business Network International when we got together earlier. And I was at a BNI conference. At that time, I was one of the regional directors for the Melbourne, Florida area. And everyone we were connecting with, like, how can we stay connected after a conference? So we all decided, well, let's try this new LinkedIn. So 2007, I jumped on LinkedIn, and then I actually started teaching my clients on LinkedIn in 2008, believe it or not, to set up their profile. We had no clue what we were doing. We were just on there, setting up their profile, making it more of a resume, because that's how everyone else looked. And, fast forward now, especially during the pandemic, the way LinkedIn has really evolved. I mean, to me, it is the virtual chamber of commerce that is open 24/7. And we need to treat it as if we were attending an in-person networking event. That's how we need to be treating our LinkedIn connections, our activity on the profile. How would we network in person? That's how we need to be networking on LinkedIn.
I just love that description, the virtual chamber of commerce.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right when it comes to that. I never really thought about that before. And, I mean, for my business, I post out on LinkedIn. It's not my main platform. So Facebook is really, my Facebook group is really my main space where I hang out. And then I also go over to LinkedIn and I do an article every week and that kind of thing. So I don't know as much about we'll say the power of LinkedIn. And as you just said, the virtual chamber of commerce, you're absolutely right. And it can be utilized so much more for that purpose.
Oh, it really can be. And what a number of us end up doing, and you're absolutely right. Facebook is the go-to site for most of us because that's what we do. The connecting with friends, we can connect with associates, we can be seen by more people. However, it has gotten so cluttered. Now, I'm not saying LinkedIn hasn't. It really has over the last few years. However, if you set on any platform, if you set some nice, simple strategies that you consistently do and you make them routine, then you can have success on any platform that you're on. But especially if you know where your ideal audience is. And when I think of LinkedIn, I mean, it's the largest professional networking platform there is out there. It's worldwide. It is, people that are on there have a business mindset. They're there for a more intentional purpose. Facebook, there's so many different things we can do. We have our personal profile, we have the groups, we have our business page, and yes, we have other opportunities on LinkedIn as well. But the fact is, we are setting up our specialty, our showcasing who we are on our LinkedIn profile because people want to connect with individuals. They want to network with the people. Our business company page sits out there because it does give them an opportunity to go learn a little bit more about your company. And there are still many individuals that do not have websites. So utilizing a company page, either on LinkedIn or Facebook, any of them, gives them that opportunity. The thing we have to remember, we do not own these sites. So anything can happen. I mean, look how many sites have come and gone. They've pulled them down or they've changed them, they've tweaked them. So yeah, so with LinkedIn, I look at it as, it ranks as the #1 lead generation platform out there. It also offers a wide range of options for increased reach. You have the opportunity to really connect intentionally with individuals that you can develop some really deep relationships with. And what we have to remember is when we are developing these relationships, we do not want to sell to these individuals we're connecting with. We want to develop those relationships and make sure that they are that we have that know, like, and trust factor, and that we're selling through them. Just like we learned in any other networking association, especially within BNI, we build our synergistic group of individuals that we can then network through, and they will then refer business to you. And that's, again, what I just love LinkedIn. We can do that on Facebook. However, it's done so much differently. LinkedIn, to me, when you just look at the whole platform and see that professionalism and know that the professional individuals are there, we just need to reach out and connect with them.
Right. So a couple things. You're bringing up all kinds of questions in my head right now. And I know we have some folks watching. So if you have any questions, feel free to post them into the comments, and we'll bring them up. And so the first question that I have is, I mean, and this is, I use myself as the example all the time too, is that, again, I don't use LinkedIn as my primary platform for social. And so I have my personal LinkedIn page. I do have an Autumn Ascent business page. Honestly, I really don't do much out there. I don't understand or know the value of having the business page on LinkedIn. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, your company page, basically, when you're setting up your profile and you're listing items on there, especially like your business and such, if you want to have your logo show on your business profile where someone can actually click on it and go read more, that's why you want to set up a company page, because it will actually propagate that logo onto your business page. And your business page, again, is just that area. It's developing more. There's so many new things coming out right now that it's mind-blowing how these sites continue evolving, and staying on top of them sometimes can be challenging. But you now can actually, just as you have been able in the past, put some comments in there. But what the company page is going to do is showcase your business. Let individuals know, as they're looking at your company page, what's happening within your business, letting them get to know more about, all that you do. Whereas on your personal profile, you're going to really be showcasing your credibility, let people know how they can become more confident with you. That's one of the first strategies we need to really focus on, is building our credibility on our personal profile, because people do business with people, not with businesses.
Agreed.
Because think of all the sales professionals out there that are working for companies. Most of those sales professionals bring in clients because people get to know them. before they really get to know the company. They're out representing
Absolutely.
the company, and that's what we do. So that's kind of the difference with the company page on LinkedIn. It's not as I don't want to say it's not necessary, because it really is a necessary tool that we want to, definitely tap into and utilize on LinkedIn. However, we want to make sure that we're setting up our profile. The number one strategy that you want to do is really make sure that your profile is complete and updated. You want to think of it again kind of as your online business card. And I will say that your LinkedIn profile, once it is complete, and has all the information that is necessary for someone to really get to know, like, and trust you when they come onto LinkedIn and look over you, it actually will have most likely a greater reach in a search like on Google or Bing, any of those searches, before your website will. People will find you faster through LinkedIn. So that's why the number one strategy is to make sure that you leave that lasting impression on your LinkedIn profile for them when they come and look at that.
Okay. So I'm hearing that number one, for the business page, it's kind of like it helps you establish your branding. And
Exactly. It's a brand
yeah,
page. Mhm.
yeah. And then on your personal page with that profile. So what are some tips and tricks, like what are the key elements that everyone should have in their LinkedIn profile to make them stand out?
Oh, great question there. I mean, we have so many different sections on our LinkedIn profile, and you can get very easily overwhelmed when you come on there. The first thing you really want to do is make sure that you have a very inviting profile picture. In other words, it can't, don't make it a selfie. It doesn't have to be necessarily a professional take a picture that a professional has taken, but it needs to represent you professionally. And I recommend that you only do it solo. Don't have anybody else in that picture. Make it to where when they look at it, they're immediately drawn in. You have a welcoming smile. It's inviting. That's the number one thing you need to be doing. And then you need to look at your headline. Your headline is right below your profile picture, and you actually have 220 characters to put information in there. And you want to make sure that that headline is not about you. You're putting in information that is going to show up in search engines, because LinkedIn in itself is a search engine. People put keywords up there in that little search bar, right? So you want to use keywords and phrases that represent what you do, as well as what solutions you offer, challenges of some, the problems that you solve. You have to take your headline and in 220 characters, make it stand out so that when someone comes and looks at your profile, immediately they're drawn to read more down in your about section. And that is the third area that you really need to take initiative with, because think of this, don't write for you, write for your audience. When your audience is reading, in other words, don't write a resume, write it in first person. And when they're reading your profile in the about area, they immediately have confidence in you. You've built that credibility. You've shown, you've showcased that, or highlighted, I should say, that credibility. You also have shown them that you understand what challenges they're facing, because you know your ideal audience so well. And then kind of not telling what your solutions are, but letting them know that you understand and you have solutions. And then you need to get that call to action in. The call to action needs to be something where you can capture an email. It can take them to a calendar where they can do a one-on-one conversation with you. Perhaps you have an opt-in, which is like a lead capture on your website, where they can download something and then they can get that email. Or you can also take them, to, like I said, the appointment setter, perhaps to a free webinar, a demo, something where they can flavor you a little bit more and feel a little bit more confident. I also invite people to just message me through LinkedIn. And then let's set up a conversation if they're interested in going further. We have to be mindful of that, though. We don't want to go in and be salesy. We want to just get to know them and let them get to know us. There's those steps in all networking that we have to be careful with, that we get to build the relationship and make sure we're a good fit for each other.
Yeah, I actually had a note about messaging, I was going to bring it up later, but since you just
Mm.
brought it up,
Yeah.
so one of the things that actually kind of irks me about LinkedIn is I get at least five or more per day of people going, "Hey, I saw you out here and I think we should chat and I've got this to sell you." And even what I teach my clients is that you don't come out of the gate selling something.
No.
I teach about
Yeah.
reverse marketing and about, establishing that know, like, and trust, and then, offering, extending your hand to offer, right? On
Oh,
LinkedIn, I don't know what it is on LinkedIn versus all
yeah.
the other platforms. On LinkedIn, I'm constantly getting bombarded by people not that I don't know messaging me saying, "Hey, Regina, I saw your profile out there and I think you need this. We should talk because I
Yeah.
have this for you." And I'm like, "I didn't ask you for that. I don't even know who
Yeah.
you are."
And here's my thing. We all get those. And I will tell you, they've always been there, but they have not been as great as they are today because so many people are jumping on LinkedIn thinking that's what they do. They don't know etiquette. So first of all, notice that what you don't like, don't ever do that. That's just number one thing. Don't make those mistakes. Don't do what you don't like. Um, what I normally do with individuals like that, I don't even take the time to respond. I just delete it because I don't want to get in a tit for tat or have a conversation with somebody that I don't know that they don't understand. I had a client that shared with me recently that she had someone that reached out appropriately where they started having a conversation back and forth on the messaging. And so they decided to have a one-on-one conversation. Well, as soon as that conversation was set up, the person that initiated it said, "Great, I'm going to have my boss come in and have a conversation with you." Right away, that set up that signal. No way. They were trying to sell them. And this client of mine said, "You know what? I didn't build a relationship with your boss. I was building the relationship with you. So no, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
not in the market to buy anything or to sell you anything. I just wanted to get to know you a little bit more." And so
Yeah.
those are the things you have
Mhm.
to be leery of. But absolutely right. It does drive so many of us nuts. I mean, we get it on Facebook, but not as not they kind of go in this hidden folder. On LinkedIn, we see them all. And so just know that you don't have just delete them. You don't have to respond to them. I'm hoping that enough people, because there's so much more education out there on LinkedIn. I follow, some really amazing people that I just, constantly, we always have to be learning from each other, right? And so I try to teach others as well that you want to make sure that you are treating others as you want to be treated. And just as any type of networking situation, we don't want to card bomb them. And that's what that is. And that messaging, they're card bombing us. That's how I liken it. So
You, you,
don't
you,
do
you,
that. Then, yeah. So
you
don't
know,
get upset about it. Just ignore it.
you just cracked me up so much because you just made me think, because that's what we used to say. You called it the virtual chamber of commerce, right?
Mhm.
And that's what we used to joke about at the Chamber of Commerce was the card bombers. You'd walk into a networking event and people would
Yeah.
just walk up to you and say, "Hey, I'm Regina Anley. Here's my card. I'd love to have a chat with you." And you don't even know who they are. And then they walk away to the next person and you didn't even like have a conversation with them.
I
That's
know.
exactly what it is on LinkedIn when they send you those messages.
It is. And it's just a type of etiquette. And I mean, I look at those things and sometimes I pull them out and I use them as examples. I don't ever show people's names or faces or anything, but I use those as examples within my, when I'm teaching other clients and how to use LinkedIn more efficiently. And and understand, instead of getting upset with something we don't like, just learn from it. Learn from that experience and say, okay, I'm never going to do that to anyone because it sure didn't make me feel good. I don't want to make others feel yucky too.
Yeah, and it is. Deb just said that card bombing at the
Yeah,
chamber meetings. If you've ever been to a chamber meeting, you've probably experienced it
yeah.
because I have never been to a chamber event where somebody didn't do that.
Oh, I know it.
So it's they just don't know any better, and until they learn better, they just don't know. And I have a suggestion, something that I've started doing here and there. It's not for everybody. It depends on who is virtually card bombing me in LinkedIn.
Mhm,
I'm going
mhm.
to use that
I
now.
know.
I'm going to have virtual card bombing.
That's what it is. Yes.
I love that. Um, I have used this a couple times now. It hasn't brought me any new clients yet. However, every now and then somebody will virtual card bomb me on LinkedIn. And I look at their profile and I'm like, hey, you know
Mhm.
what? They don't know what they're doing. They just did this to me. And you know what? They do great in my course. If they took my
There you
course, I
go.
could teach them a lot so they don't do that anymore. And so instead, I'll message them back and say, I don't really know you, and I definitely don't know, like, or trust you at this point. And I would love to get to know you better because, I could actually help you be more effective on LinkedIn instead of doing what you're doing here. So if you want some more information, here's the link to my program that you might find of value. And I basically just card bomb them back and say, hey, if you want to learn how to actually get more clients instead of doing it this way and not get clients, and when they do the card bombing thing, it's the throwing the spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Exactly.
So
Well,
they're card bombing everybody, and
yeah.
then okay, maybe I get one person that responds.
Yeah, I mean, I've done that as well. And, in the beginning, I started doing that as well. Hey, I've got a LinkedIn class coming up. You know, maybe you'd be interested in learning a little bit more on LinkedIn etiquette or something. I would say things like that, and it'd be free. Sometimes it'd just be a free webinar. Just I wouldn't even charge them for anything like that. And I can't say they ever came, but I've done the same thing. I finally realized that my time is so valuable
Mhm.
that I don't really need to start conversations. Now, if there is something that I mean, that's one thing when you're connecting, I always say connect intentionally. And I always look at individuals' profiles to see what we have in common or who we are connected with. We both have similar connections or something that they maybe posted, some content they posted that was really um, caught my interest. And I would bring that in to the note that I send them because I never send a LinkedIn connection request without putting in a some type of a message and why I would find it interesting to connect with them. And it isn't because, hey, I think we could be a good partner, blah, blah, blah. It's just, I really enjoyed that article you wrote. Love to learn more about that topic and jump on a, one-on-one, have a conversation to get to know each other a little bit better. I would find something of interest on their profile and bring that into the message I send them. And I do that also with individuals that send requests to me that I am going to go ahead and accept. Some will put a personal note, some don't, but I will go look at their profile first. I always make that a habit unless I know the person, and when we just
Yep.
met and we've had a conversation. Like I sent you, I think a request this morning. I realized, oh my gosh, Regina and we're connected on Facebook, but not here. So I made just a little note to you, not to know because we've met before. But yeah, that's what we have to be thinking about when we're really connecting is doing good habits consistently so people get to know us more and we're building confidence. And I have this saying, we want to make a friend and grow our business. We don't want to just go on and get clients. I mean, that's not all of my clients are my friends. I know them so well. And I want to do the same with anyone I connect with here on LinkedIn. We may not know each other so well at the beginning, but we know a little bit about each other. So that opens the door for a bigger opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really, I mean, in if you really want to do business and you actually want to have a successful business, that's what it is. It's all about relationships. Like you said,
Yeah, yeah.
your clients are friends. All of my clients are, I know them so well that, it's, I know things about their personal life, their families and everything else, and,
Mhm.
all their background. And it's not just about doing business. You do business, like you said, when we started, you do business with the person, not with the
Mhm.
business. And that,
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say, you mentioned earlier how, you're more on Facebook. I mean, my groups, I mean, I have groups. I also have my business page used to be really crazy busy. Now it's not because your profile and your groups on Facebook is where you have more of the activity and more of the conversation. And I used to use an analogy when you think of Facebook, you kind of think of, that's where everybody knows your name and then some, kind of like the bar at Cheers, because so much is out there. So when you're thinking of LinkedIn, you want to really think of it more as a a business event, that how would you show up and act if you were going to a trade show, an association event, or a seminar, some type of a business conference? That's how you really want to be showing up on LinkedIn. To me, that is when you think of that, that's the biggest difference between the two sites. You can do business on both, but business is done just a little bit differently on those two sites. And trust me, Facebook and LinkedIn are the two most popular networking platforms out there. And LinkedIn was neglected for a lot of years, but people turned to it when they didn't have all those in-person events to go to anymore. And that's why we get so much of the spam, or so much of people that lack the etiquette that we understand as networkers. So it is up to us to educate. And that's, again, brings us back to another strategy: your content. You can really educate and make sure you're reaching the right clientele to attract to you by the type of content you put out there. It needs to be valuable. We can't be afraid to give out free content. There's so much free stuff out there. They're going to find it anywhere. Why not lead them to you with the valuable content that you share? And you do it consistently, and you don't have to do it all the time. Like Facebook used to be, gosh, we used to have to type, maybe 10 times a week on Facebook, a couple times a day, 3 times a day to get any type of traction. Running all those ads on LinkedIn, if you're doing it at least 3 times a week consistently, and you're providing value, and you're also taking the time to respond to those people that comment or respond to your content, and you respond to other people's content that are in your connection base. It is so essential that we are showing up, because we want to be known before we're needed. And the only way we can be known before we're needed is if we are showing up consistently and in our true authentic self.
That is, I got to type that one in there and put that in. That kind of just sums up relationship marketing. Be known before you're needed. So that valuable content you're putting out there, I love that phrase, be known before you're needed. That is awesome.
It's all about that relationship marketing. I think the power of relationships on social can definitely be valuable when you are putting them first, but you're being your unique self, and you're just showing them who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the things you talk about, valuable content, one of the things that I just started doing myself recently was when LinkedIn established you can put articles out there.
Yes.
So I post a weekly article, and I think that is a great way for business owners to do that, to provide that content, is to post articles every week and something of value to the audience.
Oh, right. And you can even do email, provide them emails through like an e-news. And if you don't have like Constant Contact or Keep or Active Campaign or whatever, you can actually create a newsletter within LinkedIn as well. And LinkedIn will help you share that out to your connections so that they have the opportunity to subscribe. And again, when you do these things, though, you need to be consistent, because people come to expect something from you. And that is how you will develop those relationships and definitely grow your business. I mean, I've had so many opportunities on LinkedIn that just have blown me away. Speaking opportunities, as well as just being known for who I am, getting people in. I don't want to say getting people in, but letting people know about my upcoming workshops by giving them more value so that they can't wait to see what the workshops are going to provide for them. I don't know, a lot of times people, what about these groups on LinkedIn? And groups can be good if you get into the right group. I will say they're not as robust on LinkedIn as they are Facebook. It used to be reversed, believe it or not. LinkedIn groups were powerful. Now I have one that is private that I use for my LinkedIn Mastery group. As a place that it's a support group more. It's not public, but I will say that I believe the Facebook support groups, when I do different type of programs, are much more active. So there's things on LinkedIn that still can use some improvement, but they're getting there. And like I said, the new stuff that's happening on LinkedIn, everything that they are creating today, they're creating with the business person in mind, knowing that LinkedIn is really the only place you really need to be networking today
I
because of the
love that.
opportunities that are there. And you have a global
I
reach.
love this LinkedIn insight because I don't hear as much about LinkedIn as I do about some of the other platforms. And believe it or not, our time is about up.
I just saw the time. It's like,
I know,
whoa.
right? It was like again, it's like we could talk about this for a long time. And I know you have so much of value to share. So how do people find you to find some of these workshops and find more
All right.
information on how to stand out on LinkedIn?
Okay, I'd say the best place to really connect with me is on LinkedIn. So you can go to linkedin.com/IN/Cheri Martin, CheriMartin. That to me, I reach out to everybody there, and that's the site that I'm on first thing in the morning. And I will be honest, right now, making a transition. We just moved from Florida up here to Tennessee, and I'm in a temporary studio. So it's like really a learning curve for me to do all this. I have a class I'm teaching today with my LinkedIn mastery from 11:30 to 1, hoping that this bandwidth can stay through for 3 hours. Next week, I have a 3-hour workshop. So I'll be all that information is placed up on my LinkedIn profile
I
and
think I typed
updated.
this in a little bit wrong. I think it should be
Yes.
linkedin.com/in.
Yeah.
I'll go out and
LinkedIn.com.
fix that.
Yeah, linkedin.com/in. And I will put out there in our group as well that I always celebrate social media day. And that is on the 30th of June. And I'm offering a free workshop on strategies to develop relationships on social media. So I'll put that out there on our group so that that can be shared. And I'll share it on the link that I was sending out with us as well.
I love that. Yeah, go out and share all of the links underneath this so that folks can connect with you. And
Definitely.
I did not know that June 30th was Social Media Day. So
Yes,
thank
it's
you
been
for
going on, I think, since 2010. I celebrated my first social media day in 2010, I think it was. Yeah, it was social media. No, it wasn't Social Media Examiner. There was another company that put it out there. I have to go back and read a little bit, but they've been doing it every year on the 30th. And I try to
Oh,
do something
awesome.
on that day. Yeah.
Thank you. This has been like
Yeah.
chock full of like great information. So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for joining me today.
Oh,
And
my pleasure.
for everybody who's out there, who's catching it live or on the replay, connect in with Cheri because she really is full of great information. And like she said, she's, just like the rest of us who are our relationship marketers out here in the marketing world who say,
Yep.
it's all about that know, like, and trust and adding that value. Go out and find Cheri because she has a ton of great value to share. And yes, so this was these insights are revealing. I love this little code. This you're showing up as Facebook user because you haven't clicked the little link that says StreamYard. Let StreamYard know who you are. I am guessing that this is KDB because I know how she types. I'm guessing
Know
that's
your
KDB
audience very well, right?
Yes, one of my clients, KDB, I know how you type, so I'm guessing that's you out there. And thank you all for joining us. And if you have any questions, post them under the link too, because Cheri's out in the Women Business Owners from Overwhelmed to Overjoyed group as well. So she will see the information. And yes, yes, it is KDB. And yeah, this is just, there's so much information. I'm looking forward to connecting with you more out on LinkedIn, Cheri, because I know you have so much info. And again, it's for me, it's not one of the platforms that I use as much. So I have a lot to learn on LinkedIn, and I know you are the go-to person for it. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Again, my pleasure. And thank you for the invitation, Regina, and getting to know you more as well. We met on a networking event, remember?
Exactly. We went Madeline's.
Madeline's, yes, that's right. So awesome.
It's all about connecting, right? Connecting and building relationships. That's what it's all about.
It is.
So thank you so much. Everybody, join us next time on Coffee with Regina. And Cheri, you have been an absolutely joy absolute joy to chat with today, and I'm loving
Oh,
this conversation. So I
thank,
look forward to chatting with you again.
thank you. Love these love conversations, right? It's always just a conversation.
We we will see you all next time on Coffee with Regina. Bye for now.